in prior seasons, we've kind of seen A-Train kind of, have this contemplative state about like his role within the group and like his own morality. And I think that comes to I don't want to say it comes to a head yet this season, but we see that it is continuing to gain more and more within himself and thinking about who he is and who he wants to be. What do you think is that moment for him this season where he's kind of like, am I doing what's right, and how he wants to move forward?
I think all of this sort of started with A-Train when his brother got hurt. After that happened, and he made the decision that he was going to, seek revenge out on Blue Hawk, despite what Vought had advised him of. That was the first time he had really turned away from them to do something that he thought was right. And I just think it sort of sent him on a spiral. It happened in a short amount of time because his brother gets injured. He goes to Vought about it. They don't do anything about it. He decides he wants to make a decision for himself. The only decision that he could make was one that would lead to his death. He knew dragging this man down this thing is going to blow his heart out. And he sort of accepted that in that moment. He was like, okay, out of all the things that I've done, I'm going to give my life in this moment to do what's right. Then he wakes up back, deeper into the mess. It's like even death isn't a way out. And I think after that, it's just like the ultimate wake-up call. Like I cannot imagine, but I can only, sort of play around with the idea of what that feels like to say, like, this is something that I'm going to do regardless of it taking my life, and then waking up and realizing that it was all for nothing because now you're even deeper in the mess. So I think for him, it's just like everything is a question now. It's like, well, do I want to be here? Do I want to do this? Is this right? Is this really what I want? Is this what I care about? And then every moment after that is just sort of another time to reflect for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Susan, for you, what was it like initially taking on a character that, was new, very new, not in the source material, but also, at least from what we've seen so far, from the audience perspective, one where we quite don't really know her motivations yet. It's still very, very ambiguous. Sometimes I'm thinking like, I know
that's answering your question right there. That feeling. But go ahead, continue.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, I think I figured this character. I feel like I know what she's on. She's like the woman in the chair. She's the one trying to do it. And then I'm like, is this what she's doing? It's ambiguous, but I think it's also fun at the same time to not know initially what she's doing. So what's the experience like for you when bringing this character to life?
I had a lot of conversations with Eric about, does she mean this? Is this pretend? I just need to know from the creator. And I think, well, two things. The world was set up so completely that people understand like there's a value system. Vought is amazing. Vought is something to go for, and then to get into kind of a moral quandary, that discovery. And I think we're trying to provide that sense of discovery again. We feel like we know the character so well at this point. We need that person who we're trying to figure out. And also, I feel like in a world where the question is, do you have to become a monster to beat the monsters? It's really interesting to have someone be amoral, who's not necessarily interested in being a hero or a villain. She's trying to do something that's very logical and doesn't have any kind of moral gradation at all. And I think it keeps things exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to mention the fact that I have never not looked at a scene the way I turned my head during the
lobotomy stuff.
Yes, he got you.
I was like,
crazy because that's when I locked in. I was like, oh my God. I told you the other day, I couldn't look away.
I was like, I know they're not about to do this. And then I listened to it, but I was like, I cannot watch it.
It was as gross as it sounded too.
I feel like it's similar to like your question before. Your imagination, like the audience's imagination, is so powerful. So giving you guys just enough to torture you, honestly, is so much fun.
It was like I don't have to look at it. I already know.
You already know.